Alright, so our racers are going to be competing to see who can be the first to defeat the Dragon Lord, who resides in Charlotte Castle. They'll need some quest items to do that. They'll need some other gear to do that as well, but we'll get a look at the first couple of chests here in the throne room. We've got Fairy Water and the most powerful armor in the game, Erdrick's Armor, a find immediately in the throne room. Racers also have the spell of Heal More. It doesn't look like much attack power to speak of, but when you've got Erdrick's Armor, that's a great start, Ali.
Yeah. I want to see the stats. Oh. Got Heal More also.
Yeah, they menued really quickly through the stats there. Not quite sure where we are. I think I saw
6 strength, 12 agility. So like with 2 Heal Mores already in the chamber, it will be interesting how what enemies they can kill. They probably could kill a ghost if they wanted to, but I think Slime and Reiki will be the enemies they will want to kill early on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have not much strength. If you caught that, it was 6 strength. So that sounds to me like, yeah, they're on a slime fight here. They're going to be looking for some slimes, possibly some Drakies here. They can damage race a lot of things if they want to because of their high defense, but they do have that Fairy Water they can use to attack as well. And DK is going to deploy that right here to pick up level 2. 11 power, 1 agility, 16 hit points, 15 magic points, so a pretty big level there. That'll help boost some of their starting stats.
That's a lot. Even Repel, that will help a bit, but right now we saw a town that's southeast of the castle. We haven't seen what it is. We also have seen that Staff of Rain Cave is in the northeast. It will be interesting what town that is.
Yeah, I didn't actually quite catch that on my screen, so that's a good eye there. I know you can spot these things really well. We see DK heading toward that town right now, and we'll talk more about the Staff of Rain Cave in at a moment. That's actually Cantlin, so 3 shops there as well as coordinates, but you need keys and money to do anything much with those, and our racers don't have either at the moment. So it's back to the grind for DK here in the early going.
Yeah, there's not much you can get. Maybe get a torch, but even with like the attack power that we have, we might just skip it.
Yeah, when you have as much defense as they do starting with that armor, you can hope to fight a lot of things. Some torches would be really nice looking at these metal scorpions, though, so as soon as they get enough money to do those kinds of things, you can perhaps expect that they might do that. Torches cost 8 gold, and Fairy Water costs, I believe, 24, unless I'm misremembering that.
And a big skeleton kill for Z-Man.
Yeah, that's nice right there. That's a good kill. 2 power, 5 speed, 2 hit points, 10 magic points in level 3, and a new spell, or should I say 4 spells?
Yeah, a lot. Outside, Heal, Sleep, Radiant. I mean, I think Heal might have like some value, because we don't have a lot of HP to be able to heal all the HP that a Heal More would require. You probably could just go with a heal, it will be fine.
Yeah, exactly. When you don't have a ton of HP anyway, the Heal More spell is kind of overkill at this point, so they can save some MP by having that heal spell. That's actually nice to see, even though they are getting the heal walking from that Erdrick's Armor as well. We should talk about that a little bit. So Erdrick's Armor, in case you're not familiar with Dragon Warrior, that'll give you immunity to all of the dangerous tiles that you see on the world map or in dungeons, barrier tiles, swamp tiles, totally immune. It'll give you immunity to stop spell. You'll also heal 1 hit point for every step you take, and it will diminish the damage from attack spells and enemy breath attacks by 1/3. As we see Z rolling in here with a Poltergeist kill, he's going to get another level, and for his effort, 1 hit point and 3 magic points.
Yeah, I think someone really loves this level.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. We're going to keep it a secret and see if chat knows who really likes this level.
Looks like Lorgan knows who loves it.
Lorgan does know. So this is interesting. We've gotten a little bit of a sense of the monsters that are occupying the zones around Tanagel Castle here. With the big defense they have, these enemies don't seem to have any dangerous abilities. So they're just racing a lot of stuff right now, and it looks like Z's going to take a look inside Cantlin here. And he's going straight for the Fairy Water desk. That was 38 gold, so I was way off before. I completely forgot how much Fairy Water cost.
Yeah, me too. I forget because it's not it's something that you will use though in this because you can use it to thread enemies and you can also use it in dungeons now in the new with the flags that we have in this tournament.
Right, exactly. So outside of battle, Fairy Water acts like the repel spell. Any enemy that's defense broken will be driven away. You won't get encounters against them. But here in this case, you can also use Fairy Water to cause 9 to 16 damage against any foe except Metal Slimes. And here Z just made a great play, I feel. He attacked that Metal Scorpion a couple times first, then threw the Fairy Water just in case it had healing. He's going to get a level for it. 16, 15, 1, 4, and another spell. It's Hurt More.
Wow, hurt more already. That's going to be, probably more exploration now, because you can probably kill a lot of enemies up to Magic Wyvern can like be a one-shot guaranteed if you find one. So we'll see how long it takes for Z-Man to go explore now.
Yeah, he's kind of loaded for bear here in the early going. Just 6 minutes in, he's got his Hurt More spell. He seems to be saving his MP right at the moment, though. He's kind of camping out here in this zone just east. I wonder if he noticed right away that he's got the big fireball at his disposal. There he goes. So he was looking for something a little more valuable here. Going to get the skeleton, and this will, in fact, get him level 6.
Yeah, 314, 313, 14, 3. That's not bad.
No, we've seen some fairly robust levels here in the early going. With all these spells already at level 6, some pretty reasonable statistics in Erdrick's armor, you can certainly start making your way around if you want to. But looks like there's going to be a little bit more grinding here, at least for the start. And DK's on his way to picking up his next level as well.
So we saw in the first shop in Catlin that there's a copper sword, a small shield, and a silver shield. I wonder if people will gold grind, but this seems like really a really strong way right now to just like go with the armor and like a large shield. I don't think a silver shield is needed for this, especially with the armor this early. But it depends if we find a gold grind early on.
Exactly. I always feel like a shield is kind of like a purchase for later. You don't really need it right at the moment, especially if Hurt More is your primary offense, but it's certainly going to help a lot down the line. So depending on whether or not there's one of those gold chests available somewhere in Tantagel Castle, whether in the basement or in the treasury itself, might have a gold grind set up for later, and whenever Cantlin's really closed, you have a pretty good chance of getting whatever gear you're looking for. 3 shops.
You already have 55, yeah, wow. Already 55 MP at level 6, so that will be really useful, and I do think that Z-Man is probably preparing to explore now.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pool. I mean, that's going to give you more, 11 Hurt Mores right there. So you can do a lot of damage with that, pick up experience while you're exploring, and every time you can accomplish 2 of those objectives at once, then that's pretty good business.
So Z-Man found Oxness, and with Hurt More and Heal More, you might have as well check what is there. You never know on the misunderstanding, it can work.
Yeah, exactly. This is an okay check to make here.
It's a Stone Man.
Suboptimal for sure, not what you want to see with the current loadout.
Yeah, probably sleeps and Hurt Mores and Heal Mores if he wakes up.
Exactly. So Hurt More is roughly a coin flip. You're actually slightly better than a coin flip to land a Hurt More here, so Z's been a little unlucky so far in that he hasn't landed one, but the Stone Man is at least staying asleep. He's gonna bail.
Yeah, DK is right behind him now.
DK is going to pick up level 6 here with his Hurt More kill on this wolf.
Oh, and Z-Man meets the Red Dragon, who has Baby Breath, so that's actually good, especially when you have the earlier Erdrick's armor. Like, it means that it will do a lot less damage than, like, a normal attack, so it's bad on one hand, but like it's kind of good because like they won't hit just as hard once you dive Starlock.
Exactly, yeah. You would love to see any kind of late game enemies when they have that weaker breath attack. Once you get the armor, it's definitely going to be lower in most cases unless your defense power is really high. It's going to be a lower damage output than it will be for their physical attacks. So that weak breath attack on a red dragon is always great to see.
Oh, and Stonemen also have baby breath.
There we go. So there's another Charlock tier enemy with that attack. DK is getting a good run of sleep here. He might be able to hurt more down this Stone Man. I shouldn't have spoke.
Yeah, and the Poltergeist also have DL2 refs, as Zedman just saw. Also, we want to thank Randomania 2 and Randomania for the raids.
Absolutely. Welcome aboard. You're joining us just in time here. We've got our number 10 seed, dk9146. There on the right-hand side of your screen, Z-Man on the left-hand side of your screen. DK is decked out with that vanilla sprite today from the Dragon Warrior 1, and Z-Man's going with the Dragon Warrior 4 hero. He, of course, is an excellent runner of the Dragon Warrior 4 randomizer as well, so this is part and parcel with that.
Yeah, and DK wants to see what's behind this Stone Man, and I think he wants to give another try, because you probably know you can kill it if you've got enough HP.
Exactly. I mean, all it takes is, a Stone Man can have, a small enough HP bank that you can get it in 2 hurt more. So if you manage to get it to sleep and just land a couple of coin flips, you're in pretty good shape there. I don't really blame him for going back to this, especially as it's so close to the starting castle. But here we do see DK picking up level 7. 1 power, 3 speed, 8 hit points, 6 magic points. Z is right behind, picking up level 7 as well.
It looks like Wraiths have hurt more also, so it will be a damage race, and DK was able to kill that Wraith.
DK making another run at the Stone Man as Z got sent home by that red dragon. These Hurtmores just do not want to land.
Yeah, it's not getting good RNG right now. I think you have to bail now, because like you haven't hit one, and you only have 1 Hurtmore, and you can't. Like, I don't think a critical hit would hit for that hard.
No, their strength is still low enough without a weapon that a crit, I'm ballparking their strength right now, maybe 40 to 50 based on the gains we've seen so far. That's maybe even a little high. So when you see that, then even a crit can only land for how much strength or how much attack power you have. So even if you land a Hurtmore a crit, you'd have to roll real good on the crit, and the Stone Man would have to have really low HP.
Yeah, I think you have like around 39 attack power, something like that.
That sounds
That's
about
what your
right,
tracker, Monsieur Slime, is saying. So
there we go. Monsieur Slime on the ball. Yes, go with the spreadsheet always.
I was calculating because I added these numbers in front of me, but like I didn't know how much.
That was
that's interesting.
Yeah. That was my plan, but I botched that at level 2, so it was a lost cause. We're gonna rely on Monsieur Slime the rest of the race.
I think that's Mountain Cave where DK is right now.
I believe you're correct. Yeah, he's gonna pass this, or maybe this is Swamp Cave actually. He hasn't hit the staircase yet. Kind of the false staircase. Yeah, this looks like Swamp Cave. But it's a pretty similar series of turns going into Mountain Cave and coming up from Swamp South. So here he's gonna take a trip to presumably the other continent. And actually, it looks like he's gonna check the spike tile first. This is really interesting here.
And it's a red dragon?
Yep.
Yeah, you're not going to kill a red dragon now.
Yeah, he's just gonna graciously accept his death warp here with no magic points left.
But he's able to do 2 damage on the red dragon. That's a positive result, though.
Now, we did talk about this already, but that red dragon has weak breath, at least at a decent percentage. It uses it somewhat frequently. So in the late game, a weak breath red dragon grind can be pretty resource efficient as long as your attack power is where it needs to be. So that's something to keep an eye out for as Z-Man hits level 8. 5 power, 17 speed, 2 hit points. Oh, and I had a little glitch there at the end. I didn't catch the MP.
One MP.
Okay, so I didn't miss much.
It's...
Pretty decent level, though, on the whole.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, anytime you can get more agility, it will help you just, like, more defense, and, like, you will always want more defense.
Absolutely.
So we see Sherlock on DK's side. Nothing. It's an interesting place, but like you really right now we need 3 items that we haven't gotten to be able to access it, and we send it a cave.
Yeah, exactly. I think Z-Man's seeing a cave here too. Is this also Swamp South? Yeah, he's.
Oh, that's.
I guess we'll find out momentarily.
Oh, that's
Swamp North, actually.
Oh. Wait, so is that
okay.
one continent?
It looks like one continent, and the swamp cave entrances must not be too far from each other, because we've seen both of them now coming from different directions. So Z's going to go through to Swamp South, just as DK went from south to north, and he might discover he's in familiar territory in not too long a time.
And DK gets level 8 now. And that is Tablet Cave.
Yep, Tablet Cave for DK, Stones of Sunlight Cave. Both of these have a free chest. One's just a little bit longer a walk than the other. Z is going to pick up some gold here. So that chest, of course, is available again and again if you go back inside. Z is only going to take one and head out on his way, so there's nothing much that he has in mind for purchasing at the moment. DK, on the other hand, getting to the end of Tablet Cave and gets an herb for his effort.
Yeah, it's, well... Gold. Oh, and there's a town for DK now. And look, it's Brackenary!
Oh boy. He's gonna take a look at the shop though. He's got 500 gold to play with and a bunch of expensive items. There's your flame sword, magic armor, and silver shield in Brackenary.
Yeah, I think copper sword is bought though. I do think right now, like with the 10 extra attack power, it will help.
Yeah, you can use that against, some of the enemies that you still want to fight since you've got pretty big defense at this point. If there's some stuff you want to save some MP against by swinging, the copper sword will help you out a little bit. So that's not a bad purchase at all. Very cost efficient too. Like right here, DK gets to forego a hurt more use against this metal scorpion, which is defense broken, and he can just take it out with a couple swings of his newly purchased copper sword. Still a decent chunk of experience at this point, with the next level at 975.
It becomes really interesting where you get your XP. Z-Man only 2 away from the next level though, so I wouldn't be shocked if he just kills like a red slime right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's right there. He is out of MP, basically out of MP though, so he's going to visit this guy in Tanager Castle. You talk to him once, you get all of your MP back. Right. So he's going to reload.
Yeah, and you probably don't need to heal your HP back because with the Erdrick's armor now, because like you'll just heal walk.
Exactly, you walk into Tanager and back out again, and you basically have all of your HP back.
And Z-Man doesn't see that he's 2 away, and he just runs away from all the weak enemies.
He's been running away from a lot of stuff. It's ingrained at this point, but he does just need those 2 experience for the next level.
Okay. That's Mountain Cave. I didn't see the first chest. I saw gold and there's a torch. And the Erdrick sword!
That's a huge find. Big upgrade over the copper sword. That's 40 attack power Erdrick sword. most powerful sword in the game. As Z hits level 9, that look like 1 strength 13 hit points.
Yeah. And not a lot of agility or MP.
Yeah, we've seen some interesting clusters on these levels. Sometimes some, reasonably high, in the teens gains, and then sometimes nothing.
Yeah, and we saw a nerb in the last chest.
So getting Erdrick Sword's always great, of course. In this particular seed, though, I'm not sure how much leverage it's going to give DK so far as trying to pick up an advantage here. A lot of the experience gathering will take place via Hurt More, simply because even with Erdrick's armor and no shield, at a lower level, the defense isn't great to be, attacking things like red dragons even. But with that weak breath, you never know. You might be able to stand in against one of them. What would you say? This looks like maybe about a 50% weak breath red dragon from what we've seen so far?
Yeah, I'd say so. So, that's the thing, we've seen the 2 grind spots. I wouldn't be surprised if they go with a red dragon grind.
Yeah, it's really looking that way at the moment. If your attack power is good enough and they've got weak breath like that, even half the time, that's pretty good insulation against your resource usage, so... Swamp Cave's looking pretty good right now as a grind spot for later in the seed.
And DK's right now using his sword, and he's able to pick up level 9.
Yeah, that's one of the enemies that's great for Erdrick's Sword in this situation, is the Demon Knight. You get 90 experience from that off a couple swings, provided they don't dodge all the time. They're pretty pesky that way. One thing that comes to mind actually was mentioned in chat too, I see now, that now that DK has Erdrick's Sword, he could probably go in and take care of that Stone Man in Hawksness if he were so inclined, but he is a little bit low on resources at the moment.
Yeah, I wonder, the question is the hunt for keys, and I'm not sure if we have found, there are still some caves to be found, but Rimuldar will be key right now, I think, for exploration.
It seems likely, at least. We know there are. We've seen all 5 chests in Mountain Cave now. At minimum, DK's cleared that out. We've seen the singlet chests, except for the one in Remulder. So, still a couple of things to check out. And of course, the coordinates are keylocked behind that door in Cantlin as well. So, still some work to do as far as exploration. But certainly, if there is any gold in Tantagel, all the shops we've seen so far just seem to be loaded out with everything. That for Top Shop in Cantlin has all the stuff too.
Yeah, and he's looking for a large shield, and he's not finding one. He might go back and buy a small one that's in Cantlin.
All of this stuff is too expensive. And he's got their sword and the armor already, so he's looking for his large shield and hasn't landed one.
Yeah, question in the chat, how many keys are in the chests again? I think it's 2?
It's 3, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3, and that doesn't count the one that's required to be behind the throne in the throne room so you can get out. So there should be 3 others floating around out there in the wild somewhere. So of course, if you stumble upon one, maybe top 3 of Grave, that's your only bet at this point, because everything else is behind a key. The 3 chests in Garenham are behind a key, so you can't get there unless you have a key first. So Remulder, I think I agree with you completely. Remulder could be really important in the seed, depending on where the key items are located.
Yeah, because right now everybody will, as long as Z-Man gets his sword, it will be pretty much a race to Rimuldar.
Yeah, exactly.
And there is the sword for Z-Man.
Yep, picks up his big stick just as DK heads back into Hawksness to try to take out this Stone Man. Sleep is very effective against it, so if you can get it to sleep and keep it there, this is a fight he should be able to win.
Yeah, the only question is if they have heal more, because that's the one thing you're worried, because you have seen... You don't know if he has heal more, because it's only triggered if the enemy is at 25% of his max hit points.
Exactly. He's going to opt to heal more there because he knows about the weak breath at least, just to try to buy another swing instead of using that sleep spell again. It should only take us another swing or 2 tops.
And Stoneman is down. And it's a death necklace.
Alright, so you got a death necklace there. The Death Necklace, of course, served no purpose in the vanilla game except to curse you, but in Randomizer it's been changed a little bit. You can put that on. It will still curse you, but you'll get 10 attack power at the cost of 25% of your maximum HP, so that can sometimes be an important tool in the late game.
So it becomes a case of exploring, because both of the runners have similar information. And like it comes down to whoever finds Rimildar, because Rimildar will like open some checks, but not that many. So we have 51 strength level 10. That's okay, and that's not great, but it's decent enough attack power to be able to kill some enemies now.
Exactly. So yeah, it does look like we're pretty level here at this point in the race. There's not much to separate these two runners. Just have to find some next locations. Let's talk about what we are looking for here, of course. We do want to get into Charlotte Castle, as you mentioned earlier. In order to do that, we're going to need 3 items. The Staff of Rain, which can be acquired only by trading the Silver Harp to the gentleman at the Staff of Rain Cave, whom we've already seen, as well as the Stones of Sunlight and Erdrick's Token. Those can be in any chest or any search spot. We've seen the one search spot in Hawksness contains the Death Necklace, but there's 2 others. One that's free in Cole, and another that can only be located by getting the coordinates in Cantlin. Once they have those 3 items, they can create the Rainbow Drop, and that'll allow them to create the bridge that enables them to enter the final dungeon, Charlotte Castle. But we are still a ways off from that. We do need to get some exploration in, and we've only got a couple of targets left, so let's think through this. What haven't we seen so far?
Well, we haven't seen Garenham, we haven't seen Rimildar, we haven't seen Cole, and well, of course we haven't seen what's at the back of Tentagel Castle. And we haven't seen the... There are only 2 caves I think we haven't seen.
Right, so I guess by process of elimination, one has to be in Tantagel and the other has to be in Garenham?
Yeah, so we haven't seen the Grave and we haven't seen the Stones of Sunlight, not the Stones of Sunlight, but the Rainbow Drop Cave.
There we go, yes, we still need to find that guy. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But the experience still pretty level here. Z's got about a 200 experience point advantage, and that will fluctuate, back and forth a lot in a Hurtmore seed.
Yeah, pretty much comes down to if you grind here or not.
Yeah, basically.
And Demon running away from a Demon Knight, that's kind of surprising. He might not think he's strong enough to be able to take one down.
Yeah, I think that's I'd agree with you. I think that's an undervalued target when you have Erdrick's Sword in a situation like this. Especially with decent HP and the armor, you can usually heal walk off any damage you take afterwards. So as long as they don't have bad abilities, they're a decent enemy to take on at this stage. I mean, like 90 experience points is, roughly 1/6 of a level. I mean, it's in that neighborhood at least. I'm mental mathing on stream, which is always a bad idea.
I think DK's just figuring out that it's a one continent seed. You might not have seen that before.
I think that's a good call. I think he's trying to figure out what just happened. I think he realized it. It took a couple seconds. You could almost read the expression on his sprite's face.
Yeah, sometimes you don't you think maybe I've seen that cave. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, that's the cave I've been to. But like, since you didn't you went from another way, you might not think you went in before.
Exactly. Swamp Cave can be tricky that way.
So next level 11 is at 2175 experience, so we're closing in on both of the runners, especially Z-Man, who's getting close. Yeah. Especially we're seeing all the Magi Wyvern, might as well get it now.
Exactly. He's been getting a pretty high encounter rate and some pretty good encounters for Hurtmore as well. As DK is going to get away from this Red Dragon and get into Garenham. which he was desperately looking for. He's making a beeline toward that town only on 2 magic points. But he's going to get to restore his resources here and continue exploring instead of being sent back home. So pretty valuable escape there to stay alive in that situation.
Yeah, and he's looking for a shield. There's no shield in Garenham.
No
And
shields
level
anywhere
11.
so far.
Yeah, level
Oh,
11
here,
for
yeah.
Z-Man, 11, 1, 12, and 4.
Another pretty healthy level there, I'd say. Messier Slime reporting 62 strength, 67 agility, 86 and 69 HP and MP respectively on level 11. Both of our racers using a strength HP build, so they'll get larger increases in those 2 stats coming down the stretch here as the levels start to get bigger.
So, is that town Rimmel there? That we've just seen on the southwest of a DK
I
map?
think it would have to be. I think that's the only one we haven't seen, or I guess it could be Cole as well.
Oh
correct?
yeah, forgot about Cole.
It's
Maybe
usually a mirage, right? So I just kind of disregard it.
I think he skips it, so it might just be Garenham. He was just checking what was north of that.
I know now that I see it from this perspective, you're right. I recognize that layout as he's now standing west of town. Didn't really recognize it coming from the other direction. But this is interesting because there's still so much exploration to do, and you got to find some keys somewhere. It's going to have to be a Remulder at this point, I guess. You're going to have to get there if you want a key, because everything else is behind a door.
Yeah, so that's the one thing we know. Well, DK knows. I'm not. Z-Man doesn't know yet because he hasn't seen. I think Z-Man would know also because like he's seen all the chests that were like available. I don't know if he's seen like every cave. That was in the open. I think they've all seen everything.
I think they've all seen everything. Z-Man just hasn't gone back into Hawksness to take out the Stone Man yet. That's the only difference, I think, between the two in terms of what they've seen and what they haven't. Z also hasn't seen Garenham yet, but of course there's not much he can do there yet either until he finds Remulder first. DK has just opted to take on this Red Dragon. Could be a little resource intensive, but it is doable.
Yeah, and like with the with Garenham not that far from there, like you might as well try to kill one, and like it will get you the level also.
Yeah, they're the most difficult overworld enemy in the game to run from, so sometimes even if it is an expenditure of resources, it can be worth it to take those out, and of course he's going to pick up level 11 here as well. Every time you get another level, that just gives you, hopefully, that much more leverage over the Red Dragons, but I think he's not going to be, he's going to have to run from this one here, as Z picks up 12.
8, 5, 3, and 6. Not bad levels right now. Oh, and we see a single tile. And DK searches it, and there is nothing. It's called for one of the runners parkour who loves those bridge to a single tile.
Oh, I think I think that's the first golem I've seen on Z-Man's screen, and that also had weak breath, so that's 3, potentially dangerous enemies in Charlock that we've seen so far that have weak breath, so that could make for a somewhat smoother dive in Charlock Castle than usual.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's one thing I think maybe some runners will just go earlier on, might go earlier because they know that some of the hard enemies in Charlock are easier. And DK finds Skull.
Here we go. So one search spot here. Could be one of our quest items. In fact, at this point, it has to be one of our quest items or the fairy flute.
And there's nothing.
Or, absolutely nothing.
So, like, DK has seen another town and doesn't find another large shield. So now there's only 2 places where large shield could be. One place we haven't seen is Rimeldar, and the other one is in the locked shop in Cantlin.
Yeah, so here we are. Everything in the race right now really does feel like it hinges on who finds Rimuldar first. It's going to open up everything, and I know that's a terrible pun, but I don't apologize.
Well, yeah, like that's why we name it Key Town.
Exactly.
Because it's a key town.
Z feels probably pretty good about this Stone Man fight at this point, so he's going to roll into Hawksness and check out this search spot. I think it's a good play. You can at least get some more information this way.
And Zeman gets the Death Necklace news. That's the one thing. So there are only 6. So there's only 5 chests, 6 chests that we haven't seen. No, 9 chests that we haven't seen. No, it's not 9, 13 actually. Yeah, I'm forgetting. There
That's
are
okay.
13
Yeah.
that we haven't seen, and like 3 of them will have, at least 2 of them will have actually key items. And there's like also the search spot that is potentially on the map that we haven't seen because we don't have a key, so we can talk to the person who would tell you where the location is of the key item if there is one.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the interesting thing about this too is that exploration, at least I don't know how you feel about this, I'd be interested to get others' opinions as well, but when you have a map that's a single continent, it can often end up a little bit more difficult to explore than a map that's 2 separate continents, because you just find yourself winding around and you're not quite sure where you've been if you're not keeping a map or anything like that. So that can be trickier too on a map that's on a seed that's going to be this exploration critical.
Yeah, I think second continent are like probably harder to like just explore because you just know that like, oh, there's like so many more turns because like on 2 continents, like it's easy to like clear 1 continent usually. But like
that's a very fair point too, yeah. So we're back level on levels again, 37 minutes in. Z-Man still has an experience points lead, but both of our competitors are on level 12. If you're just joining us, welcome aboard. It is a second round match in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Summer Tournament. I'm Archfield Monk, I'm joined by Ali Jarap. And we've got a really good one for you so far here, as DK and Z-Man are looking for some keys.
yeah, Z-Man now finds Garenham. And DK can't really get away from a red dragon right now.
He's really getting jammed up by this red dragon. Finally gets away. This long swamp peninsula unfortunately leads to a dead end, and he's going to get another red dragon before he can even take a couple of steps, but at least he's cleared that part of the map. He knows there's nothing else that direction, so he's going to get to continue exploring for the moment at least.
Yeah, that's the one thing about this exploration. It's figuring out where you haven't gone, because you just don't want to just circle back later. You just want to make sure you've cleared this part to know, okay, where can Rimeldar be? Because that's the one questions I think both runners are asking themselves.
Exactly. So, I mean, that can be terrible. I mean, one of the things that can turn a seed like this is if someone happens to be close to one of those locations, and if you take a really unfortunate death, then that can be a huge setback, even though you know where it found, or maybe you just kind of almost get to the end of a section of the map and take a death and you're not sure if you missed a couple of tiles, so that can create some exploration difficulty as well. There's a lot of pitfalls on a map like this one, I feel.
that's the one thing that's hard. And like, Zman is trying to kill the red dragon now. He might think the good news of finding the baby breath and just, hey, you know what? I can kill that thing.
Yeah, I think we saw stats just a moment ago on his screen, and it looked like he was around 110s in attack power, so low 110s.
Yeah, it should be 110. He's got
Yeah.
7 strength, and we've seen Rimmildar on.
Oh, here
DK
we go. Keys. DK is the first to get keys, now at 40, the 40-minute mark. So this is going to be a big sigh of relief from him. He'll be able to load up on keys here and then check the single chest and the Remulder in as well.
Yeah, and Zman gets level 13, 4 strength, 5 speed, 21 hit points, and 5 magic.
Levels have been pretty kind, I'd say. They've got now over 100 HP on level 13, I believe. Yep, Mazier Slime checking in again, 74, 77, 110, and 80. So those are getting pretty close.
And you spend 2 keys and you get 1 key back from Rimmildar.
I was going to say we're narrowing it down now, and there's still 3 keys loose out there somewhere. One of them has to be in the Remulder treasure chest, right?
Yeah. So there's a couple of I wonder if DK is trying to go back to Garenham before checking what's in that big veterinary.
Exactly.
Not veterinary cathedral. I mean.
Yeah. If he hasn't cleared this part of it yet, it might not immediately dawn on him that the 2 caves that he's going to need to check out are going to be behind the locked doors various places. So unless Garenham is closer here than Tantagel, I suspect that he's probably going to try to walk back to Garenham. But I admit I don't have a great sense of where the locations are relative to each other. In this map, based on the Swamp Cave issue, we've got a single continent, and I haven't been able to keep track of it real well. But here's DK is going to cast Return here and get back.
Yeah, and then a magic key in there. Wings. Another magic key.
To answer the question in chat, we did see Harp Cave.
Yeah, Harp Cave. It's right southeast of Tantagel Castle.
Yeah, I think on the same screen.
We just don't know where the Rainbow Dwarf Cave is right now.
We'll need a silver harp at some point, though, and we're missing that one. We're missing a lot of stuff still, having cleared 4 more chests out of the treasury. Just got a dragon scale that's worth 2 defense, but nothing else of import. It looks like
that has to be That has to be the grave.
Yeah. So this is grave. Last missing dungeon could be a lot of important stuff. A treasure trove, or is there a bunch of stuff in the back of Garenham? We're probably going to find out shortly.
Yeah, and Medzi even have hurt more. Though that's the one thing that is good on DK's side is you'll be able to just do your checks right now and hope that the silver harp is there, because if not, you're going to have to do a couple of detours.
Exactly. Yeah, if it's here, then he can just walk outside and trade in the harp. If it's in Garenham, then the routing becomes more complicated. But there we go. Second chest of grave comes up with a silver harp.
Yeah, and we also have seen a cursed belt, so that's one thing that means that you can actually you think, okay, that means that one item is on a search spot, but we have seen one right now of the 3. There's the one that we don't know.
Exactly. So there could be coordinates, there might not. We know that there was an item on the search tile in Hawksness, that was the Death Necklace. But whenever you see a cursed belt in a chest, it means that one of the key items was shuffled to a search spot. So that gives you an idea of what kind of exploration you might need to do in the seed.
Yeah, DK will full clear this, because we still are looking for 2 key items. So the stones, we haven't seen them, we haven't seen them... Not the mount. Well, we haven't seen also the token, which both are needed to enter Sharlock.
So, still hunting items here. There is a gold grind available, we know, and it'll be interesting to see whether the runners take advantage of it. We haven't seen a large shield anywhere yet, and there's really only the one shop left to check, correct?
Yeah, we've seen every shop except the Cantlin Lock shop. So,
exactly. So are you gonna grind that gold and take it for a silver shield, even if maybe you don't usually, and try to just some racers will just plan on large shield and just say I'm not going to spend the time on the silver. But if you don't have even a large shield, are you going to you're going to feel okay going with a small shield? And most racers probably aren't.
Yeah, I think some will go with a small shield, especially with the decent. Well, we'll see when it comes to shove. Okay, and we've seen the Stones of Sunlight at the bottom. So that's a big pickup.
So the chest glitch is in effect, so it looked like DK just got some clothes, but he got the Stones of Sunlight out of the bottom chest of Grave. So he's just going to walk right out, trade in his harp, and then go hunt his token.
Yeah, we know where the token... Well, yeah, the token can only be in 2 locations, so I think if DK would need to check first Cantlin?
Cantlin does, yeah, Cantlin's much closer, so you might just pop in there real quick, see if there are coordinates. If there are, you know what you've got to do. If you don't, then the routing works itself out because we've narrowed it down. The Rainbow Drop Cave has to be in the basement of Garenham, so we can just walk through there and pick it up if that's where it is. But we'll know in just a moment. Or maybe not, I guess the Fairy Flute's still unaccounted for, too.
Yeah, 6 north and 60 east. That seems like a lot, but like especially the 60 east.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Swamp Cave isn't too far away, but we know we're on a single continent too, so theoretically countable.
And DK looking for the large shield.
This doesn't surprise me. I think when you don't have to dive a cave again and set up a gold grind, I think both of these players are certainly capable of going even with just a small shield if they absolutely have to, if push comes to shove, but...
Yeah, we find the large shield in the last possible shop, so that's probably the last time we check for gear right now.
Exactly, that's probably the last bit of business DK is going to do in the seed. Probably going to pick up some herbs, or the like if he needs to. Maybe use the inn if this guard ever gets out of the way, but he says, nah, I'm not waiting for that guy. He's just getting out.
And I think a DK is on a counting mission.
Yep, here he goes. So he must think this is countable. He's going to have to go over a bit east and then make his way around. Z has made his way to 4th Chest of Graves, so he's gonna, if he makes it to the bottom, he'll pick up his Stones of Sunlight as well. Right now, not much separating these racers, although Z does have an 800 experience point lead, but if DK manages to get to his grind first, that kind of a lead could evaporate pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's often
so we're pretty close here.
Yeah, it's close. It's hard to call right now. And there's the token.
There we go. Nice count there by DK to pick that up without needing to rescue the princess. So there's your token. He now knows he's got to get to Garenham, trade in his stuff, and pick up the Rainbow Drop.
Yeah, I think both runners, like, he knows where Rainbow Drop cave has to be. Now it's all about getting back to Garenham.
Exactly.
Do I wonder if you go to Garenham, will you even check for a Fairy Flute?
Yeah, that's interesting. We've seen the golems have weak breath, so that makes them, you know, much less dangerous than they might normally be. And they're not especially dangerous to begin with, provided your agility is okay. But, you know, if you expect that might be on a spike tile, mini-boss for instance, you might decide to pick up the flute just to give yourself that extra bit of insulation, but... yeah, there's nothing left for him to pick up except possibly the Fighter's Ring as well, and odds are either of those things could be in Charlotte Castle at this point, as they've only got those 3 chests left to check in Garenham.
Yeah, only 7 other chests, and Z-Man gets the small shield, but we know it's the Stones of Sunlight.
Same initials, right? SS?
Oh. That's probably why.
Yeah. I think I'm onto something here. I'm really not onto something. To answer the question in chat, yes, we do know what both spike tiles are. We've got a Stone Man in Hawksness and a Weak Breath Red Dragon in Swamp Cave. So we feel like that's probably the more appealing target on their current statistics, I would say.
And Z-Man gets the Staff of Rain. Meanwhile, DK is healing and probably checking. I wonder if he'll check for the Fighter's Ring.
Yeah, Fighter's Ring is 2 attack power, and it's, that's not nothing. If in certain Dragon Lord situations, that 2 attack power boost is really just massive. It can be worth, a heal more, basically, depending on the situation. So you have to take that into consideration whether or not you're going to look around for that.
So it's a Golden Torch and Fairy Water, so nothing really that important. So something is that the Fighter's Ring isn't Charlock. I don't know if they'll go for it. It depends how the strength levels will be if you're close or not. So it will be interesting to see what they'll do.
Yeah, I'm always interested to see that play, whether or not a runner decides to make that decision to raid the Charlock Treasury just for the Fighter's Ring. But yeah, like you said, it really just does depend on the statistics. Here we see DK has picked up his drop. He's going to return to Tantagel, and I think this gives us an idea of where he's intending to go, because I think this is the path toward Hawksness, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is. And Z-Man will just got his coordinates, and he'll get now his large shield. So I think we're good for gear on both sides.
Now the Stone Man, as I recall, it also has... what abilities did it have?
It has Weak Breath also.
It has Weak Breath also. Did it have Sleep? Or am I imagining that?
No, I don't think so. I think we've seen a lot of Sleep from the runners, because they were trying to kill it early on, and now that they have, especially because they wanted to have hurt more strats early on, because they didn't have a sword at first. But now that they do, it's less worrying now.
Yeah, exactly. It's not far away. It's just about 2 screens from Tantagel Castle. So he doesn't have to put it to sleep anymore, even on his current statistics. He can just swing away and hope for a lot of weak breaths that will defray some of his resource expenditure. And this is actually a pretty good grind here, I'd say.
Yeah, and Z-Man is counting now for his token.
Yep, we'll see him take on this count as well. There's about 1,000 experience points separating them right now, so we'll have to check in again after Z-Man picks up his token and his rainbow drop to see what the situation is, but I have a feeling this will be quite close down the stretch here.
And we see Mouse and Z-Man counting where he needs to go.
That's you see the cursor on screen. That's a good little technique to employ when you're counting out your tiles. Just use your cursor and count across, and Z's going to get his token. So excellent counts by both of our racers.
Yeah, both great counts. Especially like the 6 north, was it north or south? I forgot. But it's not that hard to count the 6. After that, the 60. Once you saw that, once you had the ballpark idea, it was like only 4 tiles that were like on the same height. So you knew you were pretty much, if you had a decent idea, you probably were able to get to the location without a lot of problems.
Exactly.
So we said Blue Dragon on Z-Man, so that's the one thing where you know you have to do some homework, and level 14 right now. So we've got 3 strength, 1 speed, 1 hit point, and 7 magic points. Still only 117 attack power, 79 defense power, that's low.
Yeah, 78 agility, you know, it's in the neighborhood, but when you're only carrying a large shield, your defense is a little bit on the lower side. But they still have a couple of levels they'll need anyway, so maybe all of those stats will pick up between now and our go mode. As we've seen, the experience points gap is just about closed here. DK's within about 200 at this point.
Yeah, and people are wondering what will be the magic level. Will it be 5th? Will it be 16? Will it be 17? Or will we get a crazy level 14, 15 that gets us all the way?
Gonna have to wait and see. Z-Man losing about 4 seconds, maybe not that much. A little bit of time to that NPC. These NPCs in Garenham can be a real pain when they put their minds to it.
Yeah, that's the one place that's... There's not a lot of places to go, so you have to just figure out how to get to a location. To be able to go through the door and to the cave. And Z-Man getting a torch and fairy water.
So here we go. Z-Man's going to pick up his drop at just about the time DK has taken over the experience points lead for the first time in a while.
And then the question is, will Z-Man consider a red dragon grind?
Yeah, that will be interesting to see. I'm really curious to see what his choice is going to be here. He's going to cast Repel and not return, so maybe this indicates he is going to head for Swamp Cave.
Because honestly, a dragon, especially when they have weak breath, it seems like juicy enough that you're taking... I can take on some. And Z-Man is in Swamp Cave, so
Yep.
yeah, he's going to try the red dragons.
Here we go, competing grinds. The weak breath red dragons and the weak breath stone men. I think Z-Man's probably got a little further to go when he wants to heal, and Death Warping is probably out of the question if he's going to stay on Red Dragons, but DK looks like he's just going to grind this out, and Z-Man's doing a little heal walking in between fights too, so that'll defray some resource costs potentially.
Yeah, it might help you. I'm not sure if there are a lot of enemies that are dangerous on this floor. So that's... And like, especially you can kill red dragons really quickly, not lose a lot of HP, especially if they use that DL2 breath. It might be 75% actually, the DL2.
It might actually be. We didn't get a great sample size earlier, but I'm seeing it a lot now. Certainly at the beginning of this grind, as DK takes his Death Warp and goes to recharge. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see this play out, I think. It's not often we get two competing grinds here. I think both are viable options, but we're going to get kind of a real-time look at which one is at least going to be better in this case, and some of that comes down to luck, some of that comes down to, so we saw DK land a critical hit against that one stone man just a little bit ago. But this is going to be really fun to watch, I think, as we close in on our go level here. Not even an hour gone yet in this race, and we're in grind and go mode.
Yeah, because like it just comes down to how many enemies can DK take on, how many Stonemen can he take while Z-Man kills one Red Dragon. He's able to kill maybe 1.5 Stoneman per Red Dragon.
The one there could be a possible detriment in that I'm not quite sure that the Stonemen are using Weak Breath as often as the Red Dragons seem to be. But all that, of course, is a little bit of sample size noise. We really don't have any way of knowing. There you see a decent crit from Z against this Red Dragon. Didn't take it out, but he's going to take this one in 3 swings. So it's going to go back and forth here for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and back and forth, and like... Level 15, I don't know who will get it first. I think Z-Man has an advantage, but not that strong. I think it might be DK, actually. It's really hard to figure out who's going to get the first level.
It really is. It might be just about simultaneous, although Z's only got one more Red Dragon and DK's got... let's see, is he going to get it after this level? Yeah, he is. Okay, so one more encounter for both racers. And we'll see level 15 just about in stereo, I think.
And level 15 for DK. 8 power, 1 speed, 5 hit points, and 4 magic points. And he's looking and...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, 125 and 91.
And Z-Man gets the same news.
We'll see if their reactions are any different to it here.
Yeah, with 116 HP, I don't think you can think of going.
Well, let's see. You could always could you fairy water strat this one perhaps at 125? I'm not sure, but neither racer is going to test that theory. This looks like both are heading on to 16, or at least they're going to continue their grinds for the moment. You never know if you might see a dive situation in this, but both grinds are pretty good, so I wouldn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, there is one thing I could see also, like just kill everything you can, and after that die and just dive Sherlock and get level 16 on the way. That's a possibility that I could see runners pull.
Yeah, and one other key point here, we were talking about the Fighter's Ring earlier, that would bump them up to 127, which is actually worth potentially 2 swings here in that middle range. When you get 2 attack power, that can be really massive. So you could dive hoping to get the Fighter's Ring, carry some Fairy Water with you, and that might give you the leverage you need to beat the Dragon Lord.
So that's what Z-Man does.
I want to say, though, it's really thin here, and I don't mind continuing the grind for either of these players. I think it's an entirely sensible thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a right or wrong call. You sometimes just hoping the stats will get there. And like, do you want to gamble that or not? Like, I understand if you don't want to. It's like you won't know if you're guaranteed to win the fight anyways.
Exactly. Yep, it's certainly a gamble.
And even sees a red dragon on his way. That's helpful.
Yep, anytime you get bonus grind enemies on the way to your grind, no problems there. Even this wizard is fine.
And even going back to the red dragon grind.
Yep. Yeah, that entrance to Swamp Cave was a little bit closer than I thought. Still further away than Hawksness, but a little bit closer. He's using the tried and true, let's keep bonking the right wall till we find the gap strategy until he finally decides the Radiant is going to be more effective here. I do that all the time myself, and usually regret it.
Yeah, it's really hard to just get to the right spot to be able to get to the spike tile.
And if you just barely miss it, you end up in this little nook where you're blocked north, east, and south. So I don't know why I do that. I will say I much prefer coming at Swamp Cave from the north, because the turns that you can take going along the east path of the cave seem to be a lot easier to bonk than just going up from south like that, but
yeah, it's
usually don't have a choice.
So next level is level 16, and it is a 9750 experience. So a few more enemies.
You know, one other nice thing, I haven't quite figured it out yet, but one other nice thing coming from the north side of Swamp Cave is that there's a little bit of a music cue if you don't get any encounters until you hit the spot. So you can use that too to kind of gauge your position if you're coming from the north side. From the south side, you're almost always going to get an encounter unless the enemies are weak and you have repel on, in which case you can ballpark it that way there too, but I don't know either of those cues well enough to even bother trying.
And DK is down for the count, so he's down to around 4 more Stone Man kills.
Yep, sounds about right.
And I think Z-Man is down to something like 2 more after this one.
Yeah, after this one, just 2 more. That max 255 experience for the Red Dragons, so he has plenty of resources to get his level on this pass, whereas DK now actually veering off course, not headed back to Hawksness. Is he thinking about getting the experience on the way down? And he is. Here he goes into Charlock.
Yeah, I wonder also if we will check for the Fighter's Ring, but I don't think you need to check early.
Yeah, I mean, this basically, he's going to fight some stuff, I think, and then the level will tell him whether or not he wants to try to hit up the treasury for the Fighter's Ring. It's going to be kind of even with his Demon Knight, it's going to give him 90 more experience. Only a couple of encounters in Charlock, and he'll have level 16. We're going to get a look at it on Z-Man's side first, I think.
Yeah, the one thing that would really help Z-Man is like if there's a lot of MP on this level 16.
Exactly. That's the one time the entry into Charlock can backfire a little if it's MP.
1196.
Eh.
And
So
that gives
that'll
another
give-
heal
that's
more
an-
though.
That's an extra heal more, though. Yeah, that's pretty important. Yeah, and even 1 attack power at this range, I mean, going from 125 to 126 doesn't seem like a whole lot, but that actually is reasonably helpful now with the Fighter's Ring at 128. And Fairy Water, you think that might be reasonable, especially since at 125 HP you might expect some doubles. So I think Z-Man's going outside here, and he does think that it's time.
Yeah, Z-Man going to return, might stock up on Fairy Water.
Interestingly enough, DK is opting out, I think. He's going to heal more after that Axe Knight encounter. And Bale, we haven't seen these enemies that he's been getting on top floor. We haven't really seen much of. The Axe Knight and the Werewolf. That Werewolf had Sleep. And he's just going to burn the hurt more on this Axe Knight and hope it's a really good level, I think. And I think Z-Man's... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Z-Man's just going to heal and just walk after that to Charlock. It's not that far. I wonder if DK will do the same now that he's got... No, he's continuing to grind.
This is an interesting decision. Yeah, staying in the top floor of Charlock. He figures he's already over here, perhaps. Maybe just going to try to gather some experience while he's here with that Hurtmore spell. Axe Knights on the top floor. And Z-Man... Oh,
Z-Man's trying to grind, I think, on Red Dragons in the desert.
This is much closer to Charlock and healing, so if he's thinking that might be a good idea, then he could just get maybe half a level here, perhaps, and then heal up and head into Charlock, but I don't know.
But yeah, right now, DK is just getting his grind on and is able to gain a lot of
Oh no,
experience that way.
excellent dodge on that werewolf.
I mean, it's bound
Never
to
like
happen.
to see that. It's bound to happen.
Like, the odds of, like, Werewolf is, like, probably one of the 2 enemies that have, like, a high agility in this game.
Yeah, the evasion rates for werewolves are elevated compared to a lot of the other monsters, so
yeah,
you'll see that from time to time.
it's like if you hit a critical dodge on a Stone Man, that's bad luck. But on
that's really
on a
bad.
Werewolf, it's like, yeah, it happens. What can you do?
Yeah. So Z-Man has bought his Fairy Water, and it looks like he's headed back toward Charlock, perhaps. But he is continuing to fight, so this could be a dive and grind kind of situation for him.
Yeah, both. It's kind of surprising that nobody's going, but hey, it's And also, we don't have a lot of information what is down there. Like, Armor Knights, we haven't seen them a lot in this seed.
Also very true. Yeah.
That's the
So
one
we
enemy
know-
I'm kind of worried right now.
Yeah, the red dragons you can expect to fight through because of that weak breath. That'll help you out. You can maybe heal walk afterward, but we do see an armored knight on DK's screen right now. Maybe get a sense of whether or not it has any dangerous abilities, but he's going to swing and hurt more because he's just looking for experience. And it looked like straight up 3 attacks there, or pardon me, 2 attacks from an armored knight, so not much more information on that score at the moment at least.
Yeah, still, it's probably the enemy that you're more worried about. You're more worried about Armor Knight than the Red Dragon right now, because the attack will just hurt a lot more than like what an attack from the Red Dragon would do to you.
Yeah, those melees will be doing much more damage than weak breath for sure.
And Z-Man likes skipping the Armor Knights, but he'll take the Axe Knight who has BB Breath also, so that's...
Yeah,
also
Saf,
good.
that's 4 weak breath monsters in Charlock, wow.
Like,
Well,
this-
potentially I should say. We don't know if the others are here, but we do know there are 4 Charlock eligible monsters with weak breath in Charlock.
I think Z-Man is going to dive, hopefully get level 17 on the way at 12,000 experience, and hopefully for him it will be good enough.
DK's out of MP, he wants to go heal, but he's gonna have to fight his way through this red dragon, I think. That'll get him about half of what he needs to get to level 17.
Yeah, Axe Knights have heal though, that's one thing that can be annoying.
It can be a little annoying, but at least they're wasting their turn. That plus weak breath makes the Axe Knights kind of pushovers in this seed. Of course, it's not. Both of our runners ended up opting to skip the gold grind. By the time they'd gotten to a spot where they maybe wanted to take a death warp, they weren't interested anymore, so they got that large shield. Does mean they're not really going to be able to repel a whole lot in Charlock.
Yeah, that's the one thing you're kind of worried, but I think you're going to use mainly Feywater strats, and I don't think you'll use a lot of... you won't use... I don't see runners using a lot of repel, because especially at 97 MP.
Right. Oh goodness, I think 17 is the level. 17 power on level 17.
Yeah, it's at 3 MP. It's not enough to give you an extra heal more, so it's just go for DK.
Exactly. So he doesn't have to worry about going back to heal or anything, he's just gonna go. So now the race is on.
The question...
Z-Man still got some experience to pick up, but...
And Z-Man goes for a run. Oh, he survives.
So if my numbers are right, I believe 142 attack power now for level 17 for both of our racers. So that significantly decreases the number of heal mores you need down to, on this HP, if they opt not to Death Necklace, they probably only need about 56 MP at the bottom. And this does not look like it's going to be an especially difficult Charlock.
Yeah, 87 really is low.
Mazier Slime saying 103 strength, so I guess it'd be 143 actually.
Yeah, one.
So still same neighborhood.
Yeah, I could see Z-Man actually going for the Fighter's Ring, knowing that he's used the heal more already.
Potentially, it's about a 10 swing fight, so if he has to use much more in the way of resources on the way down, he might think about it. But DK is probably just making a beeline at this point. We see him making very rapid progress. He's actually passed Z-Man at this point because Z's had to continue running from some things and has had to continue to fight some stuff too, so DK just gets to try to run, and he's making very fast progress through Charlotte Castle.
Yeah, DK's on the last zone. We'll see if there are a lot of difficult enemies. We're not sure.
Oh, Blue Dragon and Axe Knight so far, not too much to worry about. I think at this point, if DK sees a Red Dragon or an Armor Knight, he's probably just going to hack through it.
Yeah, with the extra attack power that we've had, we're not that as worried though.
So here we go. DK's just got the last stretch to go here. Z-Man also now into the second to last basement.
So, and the enemy's an Armored Knight.
This should be no problem. He's probably, you know, free to use a Hurt More here if he really felt like it, but he's just gonna swing away. Easy, like 120 damage in that fight. Maybe, probably more than that, like 100. He rolled in the 40s all 3 times.
And Z-Man won.
So here we go.
Yeah, Z-Man only one enemy away, so he might just run away from any encounter and just get it on the Armored Knight. And DK gets called a fool.
So here we go. Back attacked by the first form of the Dragon Lord, of course. It's not a huge issue at this point. But he is going to put on the Death Necklace. That's really interesting. He does have plenty of HP for it, but that's going to bump him all the way up to 153 attack power.
And Z-Man gets level 17. It sees the strength and HP. And is probably happy to see it.
Exactly. This should be a pretty quick DL2 fight. Maybe 8 swings here, if the rolls are good for DK. There's a 25 to open.
Wow.
And a 14. Somewhat less good, but still 39 damage after 2 swings. Nothing wrong there.
And Z-Man gets past the Armored Knight.
26 the next roll for DK.
Yeah, 65. Only 3 swings.
65 on 3 swings. That's when you know you're cooking. 19. So that's now 84 damage. $100 even after 5. $21, so now 121.
You have to. 140 now.
Yep, definitely on pace.
So
to have like 4 heal mores left here. Yeah.
Yeah, 164 with that.
164 on 8 swings. Just about covered the spread on 8 swings, does DK. So everybody get your GGs out in chat. Boy, big level 17 there, coming at a critical time for dk9146. He's going to finish in first place in this Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament second round match with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 18 minutes and 12 seconds. Congrats to DK. We'll see if we can get him in here and talk to him.
That's a really good race.
Yeah,
like he was able to just get the levels on the right path, and that was good enough just to be able to beat Z-Man.
Yeah, I mean, both racers played really well, I feel. Z-Man had that experience lead going into the grind and just was, you know, a little bit behind on that exploration, and that gave DK the window he needed to make up that ground, and it just came right down there to the last couple of minutes as the divergent strategies ended up creating that place for DK to go heal and go get his job taken care of.
And there comes Z-Man.
Z-Man also plowing through the Dragon Lord, still has 4 heal mores left. So please everyone, both of our racers, terrific job tonight. Z-Man is going to finish this up with, let's see, I'll wait for the time to come in here. An official SRL time of 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 35 seconds. So just over a minute separating our two racers tonight. Really great job done by both of them. Unfortunately, Z-Man's going to take his first loss of the tournament tonight. DK will be moving on, and we'll talk to them, hopefully both, in just a little bit here.
Yeah, DK gets, for the next round, he'll get Smashy. And Z-Man will get Bobsky 021 next round.
Those are both really good matchups, wow.
Yeah.
So Smashy and DK, wow. I feel like we don't get a chance to talk about DK enough. He's a really good racer. He's in the top 10. You know, he didn't play in the Winter League, but he was playing a lot of the practice races for the Winter League and was, you know, winning them and so forth. So he's really good, and I feel like he's, you know, definitely earned his victory tonight. But both racers did just such a good job with this one. It was a really close race all the way to the end. And we do have now Z-Man in the booth with us. GG2, sir. What a close race! My goodness.
Whew, yeah, I can tell based on the finish that was real close. Whew.
So just to give you an idea, I'll maybe see if DK will be joining us here in a moment. I think he will be looking at some Discord stuff at the moment, probably. But it came down to the end there. You opted to grind those red dragons. DK was actually on the stone men. He had done his... You actually had an experience point lead for most of the race. But DK just found the stuff a little bit faster, got to his grind, and then it was neck and neck that whole stretch of the grind for the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I was really at which grind is going to be quicker? And the way I kind of looked at it is it would be roughly the same amount of attacks between the Stone Man and the Red Dragon. Hawksness was probably a little closer to a refill than the Red Dragon was, but I mean, for the roughly the same number of attacks, I'm getting 100 more experience per battle. I figured the Red Dragons would be a little bit quicker. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it was hard to figure out, because like I think it was close between both of them. Like, it came down often. I think one thing that really helped DK was finding Wimbledon first. So like he was able to like do his checks earlier than you were, and he was able to get his grind going before you were able to start yours.
Yeah, I had a hunch that, you know, that Rimeldar was really tucked away in this seed. So I had a hunch that I'm like, maybe he got there first. And there he is. GG, DK. Nicely done. Congratulations, sir.
Could be a little bit of a Discord issue going on. Can you hear us, DK?
Interesting observation from Largon, who says that it's the largest of the 80 maps that he's seen with the flags.
Really?
Yeah,
close to 8,000.
A lot of places you could check.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that Rimeldar, which was I think the last place found by both of the view runners actually.
Well, tell Largon to make sure he posts that in the spoilers channel. I'm interested to see it then.
I think we all are. I think DK is going to join us in chat, actually, having some Discord issues. So, GG to you, DK. We'll kind of get your thoughts on a couple of things here. We'll kind of ask you both some questions you can both answer. But I was interested what both of your reactions were when you realized that it was a single continent, because you both actually found, one of you, I think Z, you found Swamp North first, and DK, you found Swamp South first. And when you both went through, you kind of walked around a little bit and went, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, that was weird. I'm like, okay, wait, this looks kind of, sort of, wait, what is it? Oh, I'm like, okay, well, this is the first continent. One continent, all right, this is going to be fun. So, and immediately, as soon as I knew it was one continent, it's like, all right, this map is going to be really twisty, really turny. The one that really got me, though, was when I was exploring and I got to Breckenary and Charlock, right? And then I kind of went east of Charlock and, you know, kind of made my way back north a little bit. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, new town, Cantlin? What? Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's always an unpleasant discovery. So
now
I
that
wanted.
I'm in. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just want to ask you both. Starting with the armor like that, what are you thinking in terms of what you want to do in the early game? Because as DK mentioned, he said he felt he did maybe a little badly in the start and picked up from there. Z, you had, like I said, an experience point lead most of the race, I think, on the balance because of the start that you had. So maybe you both could talk us through what your strategy is in that situation when you know you're breaking a lot of stuff, but the attack power isn't quite there yet.
It depends. With the heal more spell that I had, I'm like, okay, I'm going to damage race pretty much everything. I've got a couple of heal mores. I'm just going to kill everything. And then I got a little gold. I got some more fairy water so I could at least make things go a little bit quicker. But it was basically kill everything that was reasonable to kill at that point in time, get some levels, and then go. I mean, once I got that hurt more spell, it's like, okay, time to go. Time to really, kill some things above just these, skeletons and metal scorpions outside of Cantland.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Ali, do you have any questions? Maybe we can just kind of let them talk a little bit about the things that were most interesting to them. I think we covered the big ones, but everything was just so similar between the two of you. It was a really interesting race to watch.
Yeah, what do you think about the count? Was it like something, can you count it? Were you thinking it was countable? Were you sure? Were you not sure?
I was fairly sure it was countable. I didn't know it would be that direct of a count. I thought I might have to do a little bit more, winding than I did. But it was a pretty darn direct count. I was pretty sure it was countable. It's just how many twists and turns was there going to be?
Yeah, that's the one thing I was wondering, because we saw 66. So I was wondering if it was like, you have to go really north or really south to just get back north, but it wasn't. And the 6 north was really easy to count. So after that, you just had to go to find the east. And after that, once you knew you were in the ballpark range, it was not that hard to figure out where it was. No,
I wasn't sure where, because this map was twisty and turny, so I wasn't exactly sure where on the map it would wind up being. I didn't have a real good. I thought maybe it might have been a little north of where Garenham wound up being, but I didn't have a real good mental picture of the map in my head. It was more like, okay, I know it's probably countable. I knew it was in the general direction of Garenham, but I didn't know how close it would be to Garenham.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, that was really interesting to see you both accomplish that expertly. I want to talk a little bit, too. I want to ask you both, because this was kind of the deciding factor in the race, I feel. It was down the stretch. It was very close on experience. DK headed into Charlock first, didn't really like what he saw, and started to grind instead. So he picked up his level before you did, Z, and you were kind of grinding on your way down. When you saw level 16 pop up and check the stats, both of you kind of paused on that screen and just said, I wonder if this is possible. What were you thinking on 16?
Oh boy, this is close. This is really, 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 really close. If I remember correctly, my damage range was, I think it was 6 to 13 at 16. I think my damage range was 6 to 13, which would have given me a 9.5 average. 9.5 average. And given, I think I had 12 heal mores, I want to say. Yeah, I think I had 12 heal mores at 9.5 damage. I would have gotten some doubles. It was close. It was super close. I didn't feel, and I also didn't know what Charlock was. So it's like, and I knew I had the large shield. So it's like, I'm not going to be fairy water repelling pretty much anything in Charlock, even though I know I fairy watered in Charlock for some stupid reason. That was a complete brain fire. I'm like, okay, I'm going to fairy water. Wait, no silver shield. And then it's like, oh, can I do this on the grind down? I think I can. I've seen werewolves. I've seen wizards. I mean, the worst thing I could encounter, I hadn't seen any armored knights, so I didn't know what the armored knights had. So that was my big concern going into Charlock, is what are these armored knights going to have? But, turns out they didn't really have anything but attacking. The Axe Knights were nice that they had the Baby's Breath. I mean, geez, Baby's Breath was everywhere in this seed. My goodness.
Yeah, we'd counted at least 4 of the Charlock enemies that we knew of had weak breath, which is terrific when you're kind of scouting ahead to see what your dive might be like.
Oh, Lorgon actually puts it very nicely in chat. Level 6 looked like 1 more strength or 3 HP would have been enough, and I absolutely agree. If I had enough for the Death Necklace, I was going. If I had that 1 more strength to tick my damage total up a little bit more, I would have gone. But I couldn't. I was not comfortable with what exactly I had.
Yeah, exactly. So on that score, though, did you contemplate Fighter's Ring at all, which would have had to have been in Charlock?
I did contemplate it. I absolutely contemplated it. If the Charlock enemy set, I contemplated it, but once I wanted to make sure I got to the level before getting the final to the final basement there, just to see if level 17 would have done it, or if I needed that Fighter's Ring. So I got it, I think, right on the floor before. I think I got it on the second to last basement. And I'm like, okay, well, 17 is go time. Yep, okay, time to smash.
Yeah, I mean, that level 17 was about as ironclad as you might hope to see.
Yeah, and then it's like, do I put on the Death Necklace or not? I don't have any more herbs. Let's Death Necklace it.
So again, just really well played to both of you. Do either of you have any more comments before we run down tomorrow's schedule?
Well, first I got to thank SpeedGaming for another wonderful, another opportunity here to show off another Dragon Warrior Randomizer run. Really appreciate that. And Ollie Archfield, Monster Slime, thank you so much for putting this race on behind the scenes. This doesn't happen without you guys. Thank you. And DK, holy cow, what a great race. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching this, because there aren't too many of these tournament races that are decided by a minute and 20 seconds, give or take. So I hope you all enjoyed that race. One of my signature things to say before a race is, good luck to my opponent. Let's give them a show. I think we gave them a show.
Oh man, did you ever?
Great one.
Great one to watch.
Yeah, and also, I've got a question for you, Z-Man. You're facing next round Bobski. What are your thoughts of this matchup?
I mean, Bobski's tough. I mean, I got to be on my game to play Bobski next week. I mean, he's capable of beating anybody. So I got to be on my game. I feel as though last week's race against Couch and this week's race against DK, I thought I played pretty good. I'm going to have to play like that again to beat Bobski and, to keep moving on as much as I can in this tournament, as far as I can get, right? And I think DK has Smashy next, and that's going to be one heck of a race. I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Oh yeah, we were talking about both of those. Just sound like really good races. Don't want to miss those. Speaking of which, if you don't want to miss any more races, liked what you saw tonight, fantastic race. We've got 3 more on tap for you tomorrow. So keep an eye on your schedule. We've got Zarnax42 going up against Joyzel at 8 o'clock Eastern. Then Apex Corvette against... oh man, I'm going to say his name wrong. I had it written down and everything. Yeah, I think it's Nimba. So I apologize if I got your name wrong. That's the 9 o'clock Eastern race. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern, Brian Williams 42 against F. Coughlin also should be a really good race. So another 3 great races on tap for you tomorrow. Any final words, anybody, before we get out of here?
Honestly, this was a fun race to watch. Both runners made different explorations, and it was all coming down to who was able to get the levels first and who was able to find Rimmel first. And I think it's a really interesting race, though. It was a fun race to commentate and to watch. Honestly, great runners. Follow them because they've put on a really good race.
Yes, please do. Ali, it's been an immense pleasure. I had a great time tonight. It was a fantastic race to cover, and I'm glad you and Monsieur Slime were here alongside for it.
Yeah, so for our tracker, Mr. Slime, for my co-commentator, Arif Long, this is Ajabab saying, see you next randomizer.